Layers of beliefs, systems, and symbols we usually accept without thought shape our view of the world. These systems are meticulously made to affect every element of human life, establishing a framework whereby people unintentionally follow control systems. For millennia, intellectuals such as Jordan Maxwell committed themselves to removing the layer of these systems, exposing facts that contradict the accepted narratives. Understanding the symbols, laws, and rituals supporting society helps us to recover autonomy and negotiate life with clarity and intention. Over the human psyche, symbols have always had great power. From corporate logos to religious icons, these visual signals have connotations that sometimes run on a subconscious level. Understanding the power of symbols, ancient societies included them into daily life, fried architecture, and ceremonies. This knowledge changed with time into a control mechanism. Symbols are used today not only for communication, but also for manipulation, so guiding group behavior in small but significant degrees. For example, corporate logos serve many more purposes than only branding tools. They are painstakingly created symbols based on psychological triggers and old archetypes, not just artistic decisions. The inverted V-shapes of the chevron insignia and Shell's scallop emblem follow their roots to ancient fertility symbolism. These designs create associations that affect consumer behavior by drawing on great reservoirs of collective meaning. Understanding the meaning and roots of these symbols helps people start to separate from their unconscious influence. Religious symbols are both spiritual tools and control instruments, so serving two functions. They are used to uphold discipline among large populations, even while they can inspire loyalty and raise consciousness. People run the danger of being passive players in systems that profit from their faith when they neglect to challenge or investigate the deeper connotations of these symbols. Reclaiming mental sovereignty requires first awareness of these underlying levels of meaning and then education. Two main legal frameworks, the law of the land and the law of the sea, formulate the foundation of the control systems. These systems have developed to control all aspects of contemporary life and reflect mankind's historic interaction with the natural surroundings. While the law of the sea, sometimes referred to as maritime admiralty law, spans boundaries and shapes world trade and government, the law of the land is bound to local customs and traditions. Originally a means of control for trade and navigation across rivers, maritime admiralty law developed. Its ideas grew outside the oceans over millennia, invading governments, financial systems, and even personal identities. In a court, for instance, the language and symbolism applied show the impact of maritime law. The name court itself reflects the word port, and the judge's bench, taken from the Latin word for bank, emphasizes the link to trade. These are deliberate creations reflecting the jurisdiction of maritime ideas, not coincidences. Maritime customs also shape even the financial systems controlling contemporary economies. Under control by banks, money moves like water. Terms like liquid assets and cash flow expose the linguistic link between business and maritime law. The similarities also reach personal identification. A ship has to be reported for the cargo it delivers to a port using a manifest. Likewise, a birth certificate accompanying a person's birth marks them as bound to the system of commerce from the moment they come into the world. This realization questions accepted ideas of autonomy and freedom. Legal creations connected to maritime law are citizenship, identity, and even rights. Acknowledging these links reveals the complex ways in which control is kept and presents a fresh viewpoint on the systems controlling daily life. Though sometimes seen as a solely spiritual domain, religion is profoundly entwined with the systems of government and business. Maxwell regularly pointed out that religious institutions use rituals, symbols, and dogma to shape their adherents, much as businesses do. For example, black robes worn by judges, priests, and recent graduates honor Saturn, the ancient archetype of control and limits. These symbolic decisions are not only conventional, but also a conscious recognition of power and constraint. The integration of ancient cosmology into contemporary religious frameworks shows even more the interdependence of these systems. Teachings connected to celestial bodies, such as the dog star Sirius in Egyptian mythology, expose how old knowledge was modified to form modern ideas. This junction of law, business, and religion emphasizes the one characteristic of the systems directing human behavior: In courts, the ideas of maritime law are adopted via symbolic ceremonies. Approaching the gate into a courtroom marks one leaving the territory of the land and into the domain of the sea. People are thus seen as legal entities rather than as living entities. This difference is the reason lawyers speak in court instead of defendants personally. Words like bail, which denotes the release of a ship from its moorings, and passing the bar, which denotes an attorney's qualification, emphasize even more the maritime background of legal processes. Knowing these rights and symbols empowers one, rather than only an intellectual exercise. Recognizing the processes at work helps people to negotiate the legal system with more awareness and agency, so recovering their power inside a system meant to hide its actual character. Maxwell's writings underlined how purposefully opaquely the systems forming our planet are meant to keep populations in ignorance. Still, ignorance is not unavoidable. His lessons provide a roadmap for finding the links among symbols, laws, and systems, guiding towards actual awareness. This trip is driven mostly by the belief that knowledge is power. The first step toward emancipation is realizing the symbolic language ingrained in the systems of society. Beyond knowledge, breaking free from these systems calls for a change of viewpoint. From political drama to entertainment and consumerism, modern society is rife in distractions. These deviations prevent a more thorough investigation by keeping attention on minutiae. Maxwell advised people to set their priorities, away from the noise, and dedicate to self-education. Personal and group change depends on this act of revolt against a society based on ignorance. Awareness starts waves that challenge the status quo and motivate others outside of the person. The only means to destroy the control systems is this collective awakening. Every person who educates themselves adds to this larger movement and becomes a change agent in a world sorely in need of them. There are difficulties on the path toward release. It calls for bravery, tenacity, and a readiness to challenge strongly rooted ideas. Still, the benefits are very great. Awareness brings clarity. With clarity comes the ability to negotiate life on one's terms. Maxwell used to compare this process to opening a door to a new reality, one that is infinitely more real and sophisticated than the illusions we've been fed. The issue still is whether people are ready to go that step and recover their power, or stay silent, participants in a well-built system. Every person has choices about waking, asking questions, and acting. These choices have the power to change not only their own life, but also the fabric of society. Humanity can travel toward a future defined not by control, but by real autonomy and understanding, by destroying illusions and welcoming truth.